The Golden Muzzy is back on Coast to Coast. Can we get him on the screen? Look at him. And we have a sudden Varela poll question dropping right now on the show. Question is, does the Golden Muzzy look like A, Keith Hernandez with the St. Louis Cardinals, or B, Keith Hernandez with the New York Mets with cocaine and a cigarette and a couple of uppers, C, Paul Bissonnette, current day, or finally on the SAT question, D, Freddie Mercury at live in London at Wembley Stadium. And the correct answer will lead to Circa Halloween outfit 2025 on October 31st of next year. He will dress as the said answer. And to break it down, which person will he dress on Halloween as? The judge, jury, and executioner, of course, is the Tutty and Tater King himself, the guru of golf, the master of ceremonies, the sheet of integrity, Carver High. Carver High, what do we have here?
I would have to say that Nick brought the best one to the table. I think it's Freddie Mercury out of those three. That's where I would go.
Freddie Mercury, and not Circa Hernandez Cardinals or Mets, which is the same individual on different teams. But Muzzy already reportedly said he would not dress in a Mets uniform ever. So we tried to get him to dress in a Cardinals uniform. Muzzy, what was your reaction to the stunning Varela poll question today, as opposed to talking hockey with you per normal?
Dude, I think it was incredible, and first and foremost, great to be with you guys. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I walk outside and I'm like, what era am I living with and mustaches are hot again, man. This is like circa the 90s. I would throw E into the question, and the E is going to be Ron Jeremy. I got to pack on a couple pounds. Maybe I'm Ron Jeremy for Halloween next year. How about that?
Yeah, a sad turn of events for Ron in his later days. But, when Ron was young back in Hollywood, back in the 70s and 80s, he had it all going. And then things kind of unfurled from there. So I'll give you a Ron Jeremy there. Just thinking of him has ruined my afternoon, actually. So we had a question earlier of we need your answer on this. So we were talking about Carver High believes that you can win a Stanley Cup now with an average goalie. You do not need a great goaltender to win the Stanley Cup. And I had my druthers on that answer. I don't oppose his view. He rattled off Binnington and Kemper and Logan and Thompson and these guys. Matt Murray winning a couple of Stanley Cups. We could go on and on with goalies. But do you believe the league has changed? I went to the Penguin game the other night in Pittsburgh on Saturday night, and they are horrible. They are horrible. They have no talent at all besides Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and maybe Rust. They have no goaltending. Some fan told me leaving the game, Sullivan sucks. They got to fire him. I'm like, he won 2 Stanley Cups. They have no talent. What do you want him to do? How do you feel about the NHL today with regards to goalies?
I honestly think it's more about the system. Like, I know what Carver High is bringing to the table here, and it makes a lot of sense. But, like, show me a good goalie, show me a good system, that conversation. And I think it's a fair thing to bring up, because then even, like, you look at Sergei Bobrovsky for all these years, we're like, this is the worst contract in hockey. And look at what he did last spring. Look at what he did the year before, right? He was incredible. Obviously, a big reason why the Florida Panthers finally pushed through in the Stanley Cup playoffs and win a Stanley Cup. So, like, I don't think there's a perfect science to it, but I think in a salary cap world, if you can get a goalie that makes $2-3 million per season and excel in your system, I think you're sitting pretty. But if you're asking me right now if I want an Aiden Hill or an Andrei Vasilevsky in the Stanley Cup final, I will go with Vasi. But I understand the reasoning behind it, man. The salary cap, right? You want if you can get a guy cheap on the value, I think it's great.
So I was at the game, and we started talking about the Vegas Knights and the Dallas Stars. And he said to me that, Vegas is better than Dallas. And I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And then Carver High backed it up by saying, if you look at the last 5 years, they're better than Dallas. Dallas is a really good team that never wins anything, and Vegas won a Stanley Cup. Do you think Vegas is better than Dallas these days? I mean, their record says they are. Their points.
1,000%. I will just add to the equation too, like Dallas is your prototypical team that's been there in the Stanley Cup playoffs and can't push through. And there's a variety of different examples, whether it's Edmonton, whether it's Vegas, whether it's others, where you're knocking on that door, but you can't push through. So I think there's still a bit of hope. They got the goaltending, they got the back end. Some of their youngsters have really struggled to start this season, but I think it's hard to dispute that just because Vegas, won a Stanley Cup, right? I mean, they were right there, got the job done. And year after year, they've been pretty consistent in the regular season. There's just a lot of gamers on that roster. So I think almost by default, because they finally pushed through and won a Stanley Cup and all those conference finals appearances, I have to go with Vegas in that debate.
So Carver High, I forget what he said to me today about the Leafs. He said that they were either gutless or worthless or wussy, something along those lines. I drank for several days in Pittsburgh. I went to the Steeler game. I just said in the last hour that the Dragon was catching up to me. I was seeing double at one segment during the show today. I don't know exactly what he said to me, but you're there in Toronto. It's been so long since they've been able to finish and win something that matters, like the Stanley Cup. Do you think they're spineless?
No. I think there's a reason why I grew this mustache to take it back 40 years or whatever it is. I'm always, it's always difficult to answer this question because they can come out and rifle off, 110-point season and lose in 7 games in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's just been par for the course. Having said that, it is a process. Craig Berube's system is a lot different than Sheldon Keefe. Defensively speaking, they're way more in tune with what they're doing. Consistency has been an issue early on in the season, but through 19 games, they have 11 wins, 6 losses. 2 have gone to extra time as well. So, I think the body of work suggests this is a much different looking team, but I wish I could answer this question for you better, but I think until playoff time, we just won't know. Having said that, I do like the additions. I think the crease looks really, really good right now with Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll. I think they made some really good improvements on the back end, whether it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson coming in, he's looked really good. Chris Tanev is a shot-blocking machine. And then up front, they're being really challenged right now via injury. We found out earlier today, Austin Matthews is in Munich talking to doctors. I mean, it's never a good sign on that front, but some of the guys they've picked up have really, really helped off. But we'll see come playoff time if this is a different Leafs team, because that hasn't been the story with the squad in recent memory. They get the job done in the regular season. Playoffs a different story.
So he's hanging out with the doctors that Christian McCaffrey went to see over there and drinking steins of beer. What do you think this does to Ovi's chances, this injury, after as hot as he's been?
I'm never counting Alex Ovechkin out. It really is bittersweet because he's been on such a hot tear and now he's week to week. And when they say week to week, it's never just 1 week. I thought it was cool. I thought there was a big time shot he would get there this year. Now, not so much. It's amazing how your opinion can change in 24 short hours. But I can't doubt this guy because he's been doing it for years. And that's the ironic part about this man is the fact that he doesn't miss games. So it tells you if he has to miss games, it's probably pretty serious.
So I got 20 seconds. What do you think of what the Jets have done?
Amazing. Simply incredible. Scott Arniel has to be the front runner for the Jack Adams right now. And Connor Hellebuck, pound for pound, still the best goalie on the planet right now.
We mentioned earlier that the Bruins fired Montgomery today, but nothing is better than spending quality time with Freddie Mercury on Coast to Coast.